Welcome back to another episode of the Cycle Podcast, the show where we cover 4 trending MLB topics in 20 minutes or less. I'm joined by Caleb Williams from the Chaotically Intolerant family of podcasts. Caleb, how are you doing today?
Good, John. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. We've got some All-Star news to cover today. We just had the All-Star starters announced. It's the end of the month, so we're going to be covering Player of the Month as well. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Our first topic today is going to be getting to know our co-host. Josh is on vacation, but I do anticipate having Caleb and maybe a few other guests once a month or so on the show. So, Caleb, give us a little bit of your baseball background. We'll talk some ball, get to know your fandom, so on and so forth.
All right. So my name's Caleb Williams. Obviously, I'm a big-time Boston Red Sox fan. Just like our friend Alex, who I work with. I do some work with the Chaotically Intolerant podcast and some work with their writing. So basically, played all throughout high school. I did 5 years of college ball. Jumped around to 4 different schools. Had a lot of different experiences. A lot of good times. Now I just love to sit around, watch ball, talk ball, all the good nerdy fun stuff.
So this year, outside the Boston Red Sox, who's the team you've been focused on watching the most? It can be even specific players, just what you're interested in this season.
I've been big on watching the Cubs. I'm my best friend's a Cubs fan, so I've been keeping up with them just because of that. But I'm a big PCA fan. Love the way he plays. He's electric. Love Seiya Suzuki. Beautiful right-handed swing. Michael Bush, UNC guy. He's been a lot of fun to watch against righties. And then it sucked to see Justin Steele go down, but a lot of guys have kind of picked it up for them. Shota Imanaga just came back. Until recently, Ben Brown throwing the ball well. They've had some fun pieces that I've been watching, following along with a little bit, specifically PCA, just because guys that have been playing the game like that. I think of Jarren Duran, but PCA has been miles better so far. Well, I'm sure we'll get into him in the next topic, but yeah, just
Absolutely.
and Kyle Tucker. I can't believe I didn't mention Kyle Tucker. He's had a career year so far. Their offense has been a lot of fun to watch, and that NL Central has been really interesting with some really sneaky teams this year. Cubs have been on top, and I want to see them just keep rolling.
Yeah, it's a fun division to be a fan of. Even with the Pirates, you've got Skeens down there, one of the worst teams in baseball, still gives you a reason to watch the division. So few quick questions too. Who is your World Series champion? At the beginning of the year, would you have picked the Red Sox?
No, I had the Red Sox losing in the in the American League Championship Series. Believe I had them losing to the Tigers, I believe, but I don't remember 100%. I had the Red Sox losing the ALCS. Before
I had the Red
the
Sox winning
season,
the World Series.
my choice. It looked good at the beginning, but I didn't want to be a homer. At the beginning of the year, my choice was the Dodgers. It's hard not to stray away from that. It's the chalk pick. It's not fun, but I mean, it's hard to go against 3 MVPs in the same lineup that are still doing it like they were in their prime. So, I think I would still stick with the Dodgers. I've had a lot of fun watching the Padres. Had a lot of fun watching the Cubs. The Phillies, when they're hot, they look like potential World Series contenders. But I think all in all, I'm sticking with the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's a tough team to bet against. I think the Padres could give them a run if they met in the playoffs, just because of how well they know each other. There's so much sort of tension between those squads. But last question, this is my favorite question to ask: who's the most underrated player in the MLB right now?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh man, it's my homer picks Willie Abreu.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go with that, but I would like to throw his name out there
It might not
because
be a wrong
Gold
answer.
Glover. It's not a bad answer. I'll say that, But yeah, Gold Glove outfielder, got a cannon of an arm. Has been carrying the Red Sox in this past series against the Reds. Hit another home run tonight. But I'll go Lawrence Butler. I might bring him up a little bit later. But I've been watching the A's a little bit. Lawrence Butler he's starting to hit lefties a little bit. It's still kind of been a struggle for him this year, but hits the ball incredibly hard. Um, he has the longest average home run in the bigs this year. I don't have it off the top of my head his stats on the year, but I know he's had a good year. He's been hitting for some pop, and he's electric. He's one of those players that you don't want to miss.
Yeah.
He's a lot of fun to watch, and he just goes nuts. He shows the emotion in a non cocky way. He's fun.
Yeah, I agree. And that's actually a fantastic answer. So that proves you know ball. That's all I try to do with that question. Just prove you know your guys. But there's so many, we'll move right on for this topic. There's so many dudes like that in Oakland right now that you can see the foundation coming together. And in a few years, if they're able to throw some money down, move to a new city, I can see them being a surprise team maybe in 27 or 28.
Yeah, and the young guys that they've had coming up have made an impact. Jacob Wilson, Nick Kurtz, Shea Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom have all had pretty solid years. Uh, I had the A's as a sneaky playoff pick. It may not be looking that way so
Yeah.
far, but they've been fun nonetheless. It's nice to see them not being the losers in Oakland that some people have known them as the last few years.
Maybe just a year early on the playoff pick. But with that, let's move on to some other players that are balling out with Player of the Month. We are officially in July, so we're going to start off this topic with Players of the Month from June. Who really stood out? And I have a few honorable mentions from pitchers. I've got Jacob deGrom, Tarek Skubal, and Quinn Priester all having outstanding months. However, my Player of the Month is Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez from Arizona. 11 home runs, 27 RBIs, 315 batting average, and a 1.082 OPS, keeping the Arizona Diamondbacks in a situation where they could conceivably make the playoffs as a wild card, despite being in one of the toughest divisions we've seen in recent years. Unfortunately, he is fourth in strikeout percentage. He does strike out far more than you'd like for a player you're trying to have maybe bolster that roster a little bit. But they are still over 500, and much of that is in part to what he was able to do in June. So I'll throw it over to you. I know you have a pick that I don't love personally. People who've watched this show know I don't love the guy. We were just talking about it on our text off the podcast, but I'll turn it over to you for your Player of the Month.
Yeah, so you set him up nicely. You're a big fan of this guy. I'm sure a lot of Yankee fans and Nationals fans are big fans of this guy. Yeah, I got Juan Soto, the $800 million man. He came out the gates looking a little rough. Like, is this guy worth $800 million? His first month of the season hit 232 with a 701 OPS. The power numbers, they weren't there. People were starting to wonder, ooh, is this $8 million contract already a bust? No, it's not. I don't care. It doesn't matter how you feel about the guy. An 1196 OPS in the month of June is pretty nutty. He hit 322 through 116 plate appearances, 11 homers. That was tied for best in the league in the month of June. 474 on base was third. 722 slug was also third. His 227 WRC plus was the best in baseball of the month. And then his 1.7 F4 was third behind Cal Raleigh and Shohei Ohtani. So the dude just raked. He had a 1.7 WAR. He doesn't play defense. He has a negative defensive value. And he's just doing it with offense. He's just mashing the ball. He finally looks like Soto of old.
Yeah.
Some people may not be happy about it, but I like seeing a guy getting paid and then coming out and playing how the league expected him to, how the Mets projected him to.
With
And I
that,
think this is going to sustain.
with that salary, he better sustain it, because that is a huge investment. I was not a fan of the contract, but I'm an open Juan Soto hater, so don't take my advice on that. But even through the tough stretches where the Phillies overtook the Mets in the division, uh, a lot of it in part to his performance is why they're back on top of that division now, looking like a legitimate World Series contender. And that's what they gave him all that money to do. They gave him that money to put them over the finish line, so to speak, coming up short in the NLCS last year. And it's looking like a team that's a complete roster. They're getting contributions from guys you didn't expect to, especially on the pitching staff. And then, of course, Juan Soto, now that he's doing what he should, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I picked them to miss the playoffs entirely, and I'm officially going on record saying I was wrong. They're going to win that division. And if he keeps this up, I mean, that gives them that surefire go-to guy in the top of the order. Was he hitting second, third? Up there with guys like Pete Alonso and Frankie Lindor. It just becomes such a dangerous lineup. And thank goodness my team doesn't play in the National League because I wouldn't want to see him in the postseason.
Wasn't fun playing against them in the same division last year, not going to lie.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you've got some hard feelings toward him as well with what he did in his 1 year with the Yankees.
It wasn't fun to see him carrying them on his back to the World Series, if I'm going to be honest, as a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, I would imagine not. With that, let's move on to some breaking news out of the MLB. Our third topic today is going to be reviewing the All-Star starters rosters, which were, of course, announced where we are about 2 hours ago. So a few surprises, a lot of what you'd expect. So let's go through it, and I'll ask you, did anything surprise you? Anybody snubbed that you really would have liked to see? And who are some guys you want to see on the reserves? So on the American League side, nobody's surprised. We've got Cal Raleigh as the catcher. In the infield, we've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Gleyber Torres, Jacob Wilson, Jose Ramirez. The outfield, only one real surprise for me here. Aaron Judge, Riley Green, and Javi Baez. I didn't expect Javi Baez to sneak in there, but he is fairly deserving. The third Tiger in the American League starting roster. Rounding things out, former Royal and breakout star at 31 years old, Ryan O'Hearn of the Baltimore Orioles. Star is, of course, a little bit of a stretch, but he's having a nice season over there. In the National League, we've got Will Smith behind the plate. The only guy I believe I didn't vote for, I was a Carson Kelly guy. In the infield, we've got Freddie, Ketel Marte, Frankie Lindor, and Manny Machado. The outfield of Ronald Acuna Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong, and Kyle Tucker, with Shohei Ohtani getting that automatic spot at DH for being the number one overall vote getter in the National League. So, Caleb, who are your biggest snubs on each side? I know who mine is. I'm wearing his jersey. I don't know if you're going to have the same answer, though.
For me, I hate it because I'm not a Rays guy. Don't like the Rays, but Jonathan Aranda has been, I'd say, 1A and 1B best first baseman in baseball alongside Freddie Freeman. Certainly the best first baseman in the American League. This is where I kind of get iffy on fan voting because the fans are going to vote Vladdy. Big guy, hits the ball hard. Don't get me wrong, he's had a great season up to this point. But the only thing he leads Aranda in are games played, plate appearances, and homers by 2. Yeah. He has 3 more stolen bases. Aranda's got a better WAR, better rate numbers on the offense, batting average, on base, slugging, OPS, OPS plus. All the numbers point in Aranda's favor. He's clearly the more valuable player on not as much of a star-studded lineup. Wouldn't call either lineup star-studded, but yeah. Aranda's definitely done some heavy lifting for the Rays, and I think that him not being a starter is criminal.
Yeah. No, I would have to agree with you there. Of course, I'm going to say Bobby Witt Jr. should have gotten the start over Jacob Wilson. Jacob Wilson, great batting average guy. He hits the ball a lot, doesn't hit the ball outstandingly hard. He's not a big speed guy, and he's a minus defender. He has a negative defensive runs above average. Bobby Witt Jr. being one of the best defensive players, not just at his position, but in the league. Leads the league in doubles. He's an extra base machine, steals bags, but I'm super biased there. I would also have to say Pete Alonso. I mean, I love Freddie. Pete Alonso's having a great season as well. That was sort of a back and forth one for me. And then I would have to say Muncy, with his performance in the recent month, might have deserved that National League third base spot, though Manny Machado, one of my favorite players. Who do you have starting the All-Star game on both sides?
I think Scooble is the easy choice
Yeah.
for the American League. I'm a Garrett Crochet guy, but Scooble's the best pitcher in baseball. It's not
Yes.
close. National League, it's a little tough because you want to go Skeens. He started last year, and then his last couple starts, Skeens has been a little iffy. Um, it's kind of between. I mean, Mackenzie Gore has had some great moments, some iffy moments. I think my final pick for the NL would be Zach Wheeler. His season's been incredible. Uh, he's getting close to 2 ERA. I think he's around a 2.2, 2.1, something. I haven't looked at his stats recently, but I think I'd go Zach Wheeler. The strikeout numbers are there. He's limiting runs, limiting guys on base. He's on pace, I think, for his first career Cy Young.
And one of the most snubbed dudes in like Cy Young history. So many seasons in recent memory where Zach Wheeler deserved that, but he didn't get it. Always seems to be one dude ahead of him who's just slinging it. But I would agree with you on both of those. I think Skeens obviously is going to start a lot of All-Star games in his career, but maybe this one's not his year. I would love to see him get out of Pittsburgh too, by the way. Our last topic of the show is going to be building out what we think the home run derby roster should look like. So we have two guys who have already announced their end, and that is Cal Raleigh of the Mariners and the hometown kid. Derby and All-Star game are in Atlanta, so Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to make an appearance. So as I'm building out my dream home run derby, I want a few things. I want a few NL guys, few AL guys. I want one or two dudes that have done it before and had success. And then I want some younger dudes, and then throw in one sort of breakout guy who maybe isn't all-star worthy, but is having a solid power season. So I've got Pete Alonso. Can't have a home run derby now without Pete Alonso. I've got Elly De La Cruz, Junior Caminero, James Wood, Aaron Judge, and then, like I said, that sort of breakout guy, I've got Eugenio Suarez, who has 23 home runs right now. I've got him getting a spot. My honorable mentions were Kyle Schwarber, Seiya Suzuki, Riley Green, Pete Crow Armstrong, and then Shohei Ohtani, who I don't expect to be there. Just with him coming back as a pitcher, I don't think they want him to put on that extra strain of getting ready for the home run derby and swinging the bat 150 times in one night. So based on the guys I threw out there, who's right? Who would you not care to see? Any honorable mention guys I missed? Or just what your thoughts are?
Yeah, one of the guys that comes to mind is Elly. You mentioned Elly. I would love to see Elly in it. I think 98% of the baseball world would love to see Elly in it. You want to find the dudes that hit the ball insanely hard and insanely far. And Elly's definitely one of those guys. 117 max exit velocity. He averages 405 feet on each of his home runs. He's a monster. He's fun to watch. That'd be cool to see him do the same thing that Adley did last year. Switch hitting. Was that last year, the year before? Switch hitting in the home run derby.
Cal Raleigh might do it.
A great one.
Raleigh might do it.
Cal Raleigh could. That'd be really cool. You mentioned Max Muncy having a great year at third base. I think he'll be on the All-Star team. He would be a good guy to watch in the home run derby.
Now that he can see with his glasses, by the way, he can see the ball coming to him.
That'd be incredible. And my guy that you didn't mention is O'Neal Cruz, the Pittsburgh Pirates. We saw earlier this year he had the hardest hit ball of all time, 123 miles an hour. Also averages 405 feet per home run, but he has one at 463 this year. If he's doing,
are we sure they're not related? By the way,
I think one of them has a De La thrown in there, so that might mix things up. And one other guy, I don't think you mentioned him, but now I'm second guessing myself, is Byron Buxton.
Did not mention Byron Buxton. That's a good name.
Okay, good. Byron Buxton is he's got a 479-foot home run already this year. he's another guy like Ellie, a lot of fun to watch. Hits the ball incredibly hard, insanely athletic. I think he would be a fun guy to watch putting balls out of Truist Park out there.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one. Baseball's in such a good spot right now with like all the characters we have, all the swag, so many cool young guys coming up. Like even just having a chance to see James Wood, Ellie, some of these young dudes swinging the bat out there in a home run derby is gonna be so much fun. Um, I guess second guessing myself, maybe putting PCA in somewhere because that's a dude who would be a lot of fun to see in a home run derby. I don't know how hard he hits the ball. You said you're a Cubs fan. Do you know off the top of your head what those numbers are like? Because I don't.
I've got the velo numbers on Baseball Savant right now. If you can give me one, it's being
Yeah.
really slow, so yeah, my page isn't loading.
You're good, man. You're good. That's something I'm actually going to look up in my free time here in about 3 or 4 minutes because yeah, he's another dude I'd love to see. But with that, I think we've said everything we got to say today. Caleb, thank you so much for coming on the show. I look forward to having you on here again. Hopefully, you're a wealth of knowledge. Go check him out on the Chaotically Intolerant podcast. That link will be in the bio of this video. Anything else to plug? Anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, just appreciate you having me on. It's been fun talking ball, and I'm excited to hop on again sometime.
Absolutely. Well, guys, make sure to like, give us a comment, subscribe. If there's any topics you want us to cover, leave it in the comments. We love covering those when they're given to us by viewers. And of course, we'll see you next week. Enjoy some baseball.